Hey everybody, I'm Josh Olive with Haven Comics. The sign, don't you can trust it, it's true. But it's Thursday night, which means it's time for some shop talk. So stick around, and we'll be right back. So, guys, welcome to episode 121 of this incarnation of Shop Talk. Welcome, glad to have you. Speaking of people who have been around for 121 episodes, what's up, Alan?
There's been a couple of episodes that I've missed. Now that you mention it, like doing vacation and stuff.
But you watched them later, right?
Yes, I've watched them later. We do. Tots has already made a comment about it. We do have a new Discord server for anybody that's interested.
Tell folks about that. What all's on there?
Well, we will do this right quick. I just posted the link. If the link does not work, may have to send it to you in Facebook Messenger. But I'll share my screen right quick and show y'all what we got going on.
Hey, we're so fancy now.
I know. Just something fun to do, just kind of for us. But we got
supposed to be a way to kill time while you're at work. Is that what this is supposed to be?
Yeah, a way to kill time while you're at work. Got store info. I've already posted a news article. Looks like Mr. Zdarsky is headed back to Captain America.
Ooh.
We got no store announcements. Marvel, there you go. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. I dare anybody to challenge me on that. But we got all the comic genres. Look, Aaron's already in. He got in quick. I love it.
He's one of those Utes. You know, he speaks Discord.
Manga for Nick, but on down some, we got role-playing games and board games. And as you can tell, Tots has already been in the role-playing games and the board games.
So does he have a Grandpa Steve persona that talks on the role-playing games?
So far, I'm not sure. We just got started. Actually, this just got launched today. But for the more creative types, we do have fan art that y'all can submit. Anything that y'all want to put out there. Or if you just want to, like, put short stories on there and talk about them and get critiqued, we can do that. Josh and I have got our own little section. And I just went ahead and did Not Comics, which is movies, TV, books, and podcasts. So y'all have fun. Whatever y'all want to do with it. We do have 2 upcoming events. We got the Huntsville Pop Culture Expo and Free Comic Book Day.
Well, that's pretty awesome. Look at you.
I know.
Look at you setting up the fancy technologies.
And hey, I was on my lunch break when I did it. No big deal. So we gotta throw that out there right quick.
Fair enough.
I don't need Elon coming for me.
Yeah, no doubt. Good Lord. So, let's just jump right in, shall we?
Do it. I'm interested to hear what they got to say.
Yeah, we got a couple of special guests this week, and we're looking forward to hearing what they think. We have Aaron, our resident movie and film professional.
How did I get here? What happened?
You lost the bet, sir. You had to appear on this show as your punishment.
I accept. I accept these.
There you go. There you go. And we also have regular Man About Town and movie aficionado Matt Posey, the Mad Hatter. What's up?
What's happening? Am I stuck in the multiverse?
That's right. We can move people around too. It's like, what if the Brady Bunch was like super active? We can just whoa.
Alan demoted. Sorry.
It makes you dizzy. You're just like, what's happening?
Look, I refuse to be the lovely lady part on this whole Brady Bunch thing.
Too late. Marcia.
Now, I will be Alice because she's the one that held that house together.
That's true.
I find you as Marcia.
Well, he can't be the young one because he doesn't have the curls.
That's true.
I accept. I accept the terms of these conditions as well. Fine, fair enough.
We will put you in the circus, Alan, as the bald-headed lady.
I can do it. The bald-headed bearded lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
You got the part.
My
Now-
wife keeps wanting me to dye this, and I refuse to.
No.
No.
That's a sign of your wisdom.
Yes.
She even went as far as to buy some Grecian formula for men,
Oh no.
and it ended up somewhere in the back of the closet. I have no idea where it's at.
I tell you what, take it and use it. Just put it on your chest hair.
I didn't even look when I threw it in the closet. I just went, nope.
Just put it on your chest hair, and then you walk in the room and go,
He
"How's
doesn't
it?"
have any. He's
I got chest
he's
hair.
God.
And a tattoo.
I got 3 tattoos.
Huh?
Did you not know that?
I did not.
I would have more tattoos if it wasn't for my wife. My wife swears up and down the tattoo on my chest looks like a prison tattoo, and she hates it.
Oh God.
That's hilarious.
It's a medicine wheel. That's what it is.
How old were you when you got that?
I was in my early 20s.
Okay.
I think I was.
Oh God, the tattooer.
I wasn't sure where
A
that was going.
Superman tattoo.
Yeah, I got the obligatory Superman tattoo.
You got a super ankle. Got it.
Can't even
And
be
then
mad.
I've got one like right here that covers half my thigh, which is a tiger.
Yeah,
Just
keep
the
your pants
tiger's
on. This
head.
is a family show.
But in order to show you that, I'd have to drop my pants. So
Yeah, don't do that.
yeah, we won't be doing that one. No,
We'll
I
all
need
just
to.
use our imaginations.
Yep.
I think the audience would like to be able to see tomorrow.
Although I am kind of hearing like Katy Perry's song in my head now. That whole "Eye of the Tiger."
Yikes.
I don't
Well,
know.
wait a minute. I'm gonna put something in the private chat for y'all to read.
As long as it's read and not look at. But for everybody who's wondering if the thumbnail for this week's show didn't give it away, Aaron and Matt are going to talk to us about
The
new
1932
Captain America movie.
Oh, that's what Brave New World we're talking about?
You know what? We're kind of already in the book, so
I thought
we
this
don't
was
need
a
to
book
rehash
club,
that.
Aaron, I'll let you go ahead with the professional aspect of things.
Did you read that, Josh?
Well, I only got about 3 pages in before I got busy and distracted and haven't gotten to it yet. I got this 2 days ago specifically to make that joke.
Wow, that's dedication to a joke right there.
It
Welcome.
is. It is.
You're welcome. Got a library card and everything.
Well, we're glad we drove you to get a library card. That's good for you.
Yeah,
That is
we're always
good.
So you guys, maybe you're in a little bit of an interesting position here because you guys have seen the movie and neither Alan nor I have seen it. So in Alan's case, let's see, I want to see it.
Yes.
And Alan feels like it's not going to be worth his time to go see. He said for him, from an interest perspective, it's on the same level as Thor: Love and Thunder.
Woof.
Yeah, I mean, the trailers had done absolutely nothing for me whatsoever. It was like, oh, cool, we got Red Hulk. All right.
You get Red Hulk for
And-
maybe the last 10 minutes. So I hope that's not
Yeah.
the reason you're going. If you're going, you should go for Sam Wilson.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is going to be a fun little, like,
The Red
not quite-
Hulk is just a minor character of the movie. It's the tease to get people to go see the movie thinking that the movie's all about the Red Hulk, and it's not. It's a lot more than that.
So is
I
that
kind-
one of the reasons that people are dishing on it and giving the movie bad reviews? Is because it's not what they thought it was going to be?
I think that's maybe part of it. Honestly, for me, when I went to go see it, I had low expectations because the last 3 or 4 movies that Marvel has done, including Sony, that were Marvel movies. Well, you know.
Oh, don't do that. Don't count those. We
Yeah,
don't blame-
you can't count
Yeah.
Craven and Venom and Venom.
I
Yeah,
was not a fan of the sequel to Captain Marvel, the Marvels.
I have
I didn't
the
like that one.
the reflection in my mirror is in fact the theatrical poster for the Marvels, which I realized when I got on the live stream. So we're gonna have very different opinions about what's happening with this movie.
and I still haven't seen Marvels either.
You're not missing out on that one. Honestly, it really doesn't. it doesn't really tie anything into the rest of the other movies, to be honest with you. Even the end credit scene was kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eternals was terrible, but there has a tie-in. The Captain America Brave New World has a tie-in to the Eternals.
Ish.
See, I think the
Yeah.
Eternals should have been, if anything, should have been like a 12-issue, a 12-episode series on Disney Plus. The Eternals should have been it.
I don't
Take
think
your
that
time
movie,
to introduce the characters so that people know who they are, rather than just it's a team.
Well, I mean,
right?
you
Because
spent
that movie kind of made the same mistake that DC made. Because Marvel's going in premise originally was, we're going to introduce the characters and then we're going to do a team movie. And DC was like, well, we're going to do the Justice League and then we're going to do individual characters. And it's more helpful to give people a reason to root for specific characters first.
Yeah.
And so I think that really hamstrung the Eternals, because they tried to cram too many people in, and there's so many of them. It's hard to remember any of them individually.
I think what
and
it
then
was
you just
is
didn't care
Marvel's-
because you didn't have enough time with them to like get interested in them.
Well, I think the issue was with the Eternals was Marvel thought, oh, we have an Avengers-like movie that we're going to do, and we're just going to throw them in there, even though the Eternals is not nearly as popular as the main characters for the Avengers. And I went into the movie, I was just like, okay, this looks somewhat appealing. And then when I was watching it, I'm just like, I'm not understanding going on because I don't know these characters very well.
You're right. It was very difficult to track for that.
It was very difficult to track. This should have been a TV series to where you introduced one at a time, and then maybe if it did well enough that you would usher it in for a season 2 and continue on and maybe track some stories. I liked the Chinese movie that they did.
Shang-Chi?
Yeah, I loved
it. I
it.
loved Shang-Chi. I thought that was great.
That was great.
The thing with the
All right, Aaron, we're talking over you. You go ahead.
The thing with the Eternals comment too, when you were saying like there's so many characters that like I don't have time to emotionally invest in any of them. You also don't have enough time to learn any of their names. So if you notice in the edit of that movie, every single time any character like is talking to someone else, they include their name. I think the main word that is in that script is Icarus more than the word the. Like they have to say it so many times in order because it's just so much information to digest.
Yeah.
And then like on the Marvels comment too, like the movies presently are about like individually capping off the sub franchises. So it's like Captain Marvel 1, Captain Marvel 2, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Captain America, more so than like the interweaving that we got really used to in like 2018 with like the Infinity Saga, when everything was kind of building up to one central event. This is more like, how do we continue and build up these individual characters to get them ready for like Doomsday? Like the Marvels' sole focus is giving Carol Danvers a supporting cast so that when she's in the Avengers, she has been on a team and is like a different person with like new lessons under her belt. That's what that movie is for. And that's also what Brave New World is for. I was going in, I'm not going to talk like a ton of spoilers unless y'all want me to. So I'm going to keep
go ahead. I don't care.
You're not going to hurt our feelings.
Yeah, you're not going to hurt my feelings at all.
A lot of people were expecting like the end of Brave New World to be about the formation of the Avengers and like maybe include like Bruce Banner or She-Hulk or like Wong or any of the other characters that are in what does exist of the Avengers network. You get none of that. You get one confirmed Avenger for this movie, and it's Falcon. You get Captain America and Falcon. That's your confirmed Avengers roster so far as like the movies have told you so far. Like there is nothing.
I assume you do not mean by that Sam Wilson has split personalities and plays both roles, but that it is in fact Joaquin
Torres. Yeah, Sam Wilson's Captain America and Joaquin Torres is the Falcon are the only two Avengers that appear in that movie and are the only two Avengers that are like confirmed for that roster so far. The final scene.
Did they bring back the guy from Falcon and Winter Soldier to play Torres or whatever his name was? Okay.
Yeah. The same guy that played Falcon and the Winter Soldier reprised his role as the Falcon.
Yeah, and he's like in the suit. He's like Sam's sidekick. So you have like Captain America with the wings and then Falcon in a repurposed suit from the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show. So it's Sam's suit from that show, but repainted in army colors because Joaquin Torres is an army lieutenant.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the green and brown motif that is from that like 2016 run that introduced him.
What's up, Nate? How's
Uh,
things going,
Hello,
man?
Nate.
I'll talk spoilers more later, like when we get into it, so we can keep it maybe like in chunks.
If you're going into it thinking that it's going to, like Aaron's saying, is if it's going to tie into something, it really doesn't. Even the end credit scene, it was a waste of time sitting there and waiting for the credits to finish rolling to see the end credit scene, because
Now,
all he does
make
is
sure it's clear which movie you're talking about now.
the Captain America Brave
Okay.
New World. Yeah.
Okay.
The end credit scene it tied nothing together. It explained nothing. It previewed nothing. It was just an end credit scene that had no tie-in whatsoever. It was a little disappointing. And I had looked up right before the movie ended, like, how many end credit scenes are there? And they said there were supposed to be 2, but there was only 1. And it was just him revisiting Thaddeus. And that was it.
See, I watched the end credit scene on YouTube, and to be honest with you, when I saw the end credit scene, it reminded me of a deleted scene that you would get on a DVD release.
Yeah. That's kind of how I felt when I was sitting there at the end.
I do too.
Waiting,
Oh,
like
Mr. Fix-It, yes.
They literally waited till the end of the credits were over with to give you the post-credit scene. And I was just like, I sat here for 5 more minutes just for this.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the movie. I think it was worth a watch, but
yeah,
I wish they would have done something different to maybe time into Doomsday or something, or Secret Wars.
Yeah.
So let's address something here real quick. Matt, you said you were going into it with low expectations, which I think is where Alan is right now. He has terribly low expectations. So you walked out of it pretty satisfied, though. Is that right?
Yes, I enjoyed it for the story. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the dialogue. I enjoyed a lot of the action. Even the Red Hulk scenes that were, you see Hulk, you get Red Hulk, the same kind of action of that. But yeah, I went in because they've been letting us down lately. And I was just like, okay, I'm not going to go in here and be all excited, rah, Marvel. I was just like, you know what? Let's see what happens. Let's see how the movie plays out. And I was ecstatic.
But the important thing is you gave it a shot.
Yeah, I gave it a shot, and I wasn't disappointed in giving it a shot. I was like, I spent $11 and some change to go see it in the XD over there at Cinemark, and it was well worth it.
I'm going to give it a shot. It's just going to be a Disney Plus shot.
That's fair.
Give it. You are cheating yourself by not going and getting the big screen experience. And in my opinion, I think this is a movie that you need to have the big screen experience to enjoy it. Whether you have the expectations or not, you should go see it on the big screen.
So here's my thing on that, and it's not just this movie. It applies to movies across the board. I love going to a theater to see a movie, but I'm very particular about the movie that I want to spend the money on and spend the time on. And Brave New World is just not one of those movies. Dune, I will drive across town, across 3 counties to see Dune in IMAX if I have to. To me, that is a movie that's worth going to the theater to see. Y'all can laugh at me if you want to, but for my daughter's birthday, she wanted to go see Wicked. To me, that's a movie that needs to be seen on the big screen. I only
100%.
went because she wanted to go, but still, we went. But Brave New World has just done nothing for me whatsoever.
See, I wish that Marvel would put the Daredevil movie on the big screen instead of doing it on Disney Plus, because I feel like just the previews alone for that show was phenomenal looking. And I was just like, this has got too much in there to just be a made for streaming movie. This should be on the big screen.
It looks like like 2 things. One, they picked up exactly where the show left off.
Yeah.
As far as the feel of it, right? And 2, it looks very much like they were like, yes, look, we're showing you all these broken bones, so that we didn't Disney-fy this, and it's just as hard-hitting as the other one. I was okay, it's a little gratuitous now, because you're just doing it to make a point.
what they could do is, have any of y'all watched that show, The Chosen? You can only watch it online right now on their website.
Bits and pieces. I have soup on the oven, so I'm gonna go stir it.
Okay, so
what's The Chosen?
The Chosen is basically it's a TV show about Jesus and the apostles and all that.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I haven't watched a single
So
episode.
it's very well done. I mean, superb quality. But what they're doing is the 5th season is getting ready to start, and they are actually releasing it at movie theaters 1 episode at a time.
I saw that on the trailer for the movie when I went to see Brave
Yeah,
New
and
World.
then it will go to streaming after that.
Yeah.
So Disney could easily do something like that with Daredevil, and I think it would make a ton of money.
Yeah.
Do like the old serials, release like an episode a week at the movie theater, make some money off of it that way, and then send it to Disney Plus.
I think the thing is with that, Alan, is people have a hard time justifying paying $7 to however much just to go see week to week an episode on the big screen, when you can go and watch it for no extra cost because you're already paying for Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Or, any other way. But yeah, that would be kind of cool. But at the same time, the difference is you're paying money every week to go see it, whereas you're paying a monthly price for Disney Plus to go see it. I don't know if all the fans will want to do that, though. I specifically don't want to spend money every week to go see that. Movie tickets are already expensive as it is.
And he's got comics to buy. Aaron, what were you trying to say?
I'm really fascinated that you're the person that brought that up, because you just said you wouldn't go to spend the money for a Captain America movie. So going to see Daredevil episode to episode, weekly by weekly, was a really interesting kind of duality there.
Yeah, it was.
And that's literally what it comes.
You just want to see
Daredevil has got me interested. Sam Wilson doesn't have me interested.
Okay, sure, that makes sense. Also, Disney has done that, bringing television to movie theaters. They did it twice. They did it for the Inhumans TV show in 2017 because they had an IMAX.
That was a bad choice.
Was awful.
Yeah, and then for regions of Disney, or for regions of the world where Disney Plus was not yet available in its really early days, they did some cinematic screenings for Miss Marvel, particularly in India and Pakistan, because that's the kind of region that she's representing, and in Thailand, I think. So they do that sometimes, but it's a very rare thing, and it's kind of more story dependent than anything. I'm really excited about the prestige of what Daredevil looks like, but in thinking it's a little too much for a 6-episode mini show, it's because it's not 6 episodes, it's 18 episodes over 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And season 2 is being filmed literally today, so you'll have time to sit with Daredevil, because there will be
I'm a fan of, because I just went back and rewatched the Netflix Daredevils
I'm gonna go back and rewatch.
I remembered it being very good, and I remembered specific bits and pieces from it.
Mm-hmm.
But watching it again, I was just overwhelmed by how well it holds up, by how awesome it is. Really, really, really good. And if this can continue along that theme, I am more than a happy camper.
Yeah. They did a complete overhaul of it during production of it. So when it was originally announced and debuted and they started to film, they got maybe, I think, 3 weeks into production, and then they shut it down completely because they were making it under the same kind of lens that they had with the normal Disney Plus shows, how it's a 6-episode mini series that's basically a movie plus 10%. They scrapped it completely, got brand new showrunners, got writers from the original Netflix show back, and started from the ground up again. They changed the parts of the story that weren't working, which included some really big risky moves that would have 100% made people angry, and made it this multi-season epic, and are now focusing on making Marvel TV actual multi-season television instead of little event shows that are basically mini movies given less attention. So I'm excited to see what Daredevil looks like, because this will be the first.
What big moves are you talking about that would have made people mad? Because it sounds like you have some idea about that.
Foggy died in the first episode. They don't anymore. He doesn't now, but it was a big thing. That's so stuff like that, of pivoting away from what you remember about the Netflix show and trying to do something different and pulling from more modern Daredevil comics, which they still do now. This is, I think, a really nice blend of the 70s run and like a lot of the post 2016 kind of stuff, like with Muse and with the Chip Zdarsky run especially. Like there is a lot of Devil's Reign in what will happen with Daredevil, and I'm very excited to see what happens.
Me
So-
too. I hope they bring back Moon Knight specifically for Devil's Reign, where he fights Juggernaut in jail.
Probably not
That would be great.
But you know, the thing about Foggy dying is it wouldn't be the first time, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
You shut
What's
up.
your hiccup on, Alan? What's your hiccup on going to see Brave New World of Theater? Is it because you don't see Sam Wilson as Captain America because you're a big Steve Rogers fan? Is that the hiccup? Because I think that's a lot of what people have an issue with is Anthony Mackie is not Captain America.
No,
the Falcon.
I can understand that hiccup. I love the Falcon and Winter Soldier series that they did on Disney Plus. I thought it was great. My hang up with the movie is my hang up with a lot of movies. It literally comes down to my personal schedule and if I have time.
Sure.
There are certain movies that I will make time for. You know, like I said, like an Aliens movie, I'm making time for it. Dune, I'm making time for it. But this is just not one of those movies that I feel like I need to make time for. And then on top of that, when it does come to my time that I can go do something like that, I've got to be very picky and choosy because I'm one of those types, and I'm going off on a tangent here. I'm one of those types that when my free time is literally dedicated to my family. It's what they want to go do, what they want to go see.
And that's the way it should be, as you
No,
being
and
a
like
husband and a
we're
father.
already looking forward to Fantastic Four.
Oh,
You know,
definitely.
well, that's going to be one that the family loads up and goes and sees.
Yeah.
Like when I went and saw Dune, I had to go meet. I didn't have to, but it was easier. I went and met friends at like 11 o'clock in the morning to go see it, just because of the time.
Yeah.
You know, same thing with Aliens. Nick Ellis and I had to find this wonky little time that worked for both of us to where we could squeeze it in, like between his daughter taking a nap and my daughter being off somewhere doing something
Was that
else.
for Romulus?
So yeah, it was to me.
Nick doesn't do scary movies. We
Yeah,
finally
Nick does
got him
not
to
do
watch
scary
Alien
movies.
and Aliens, and then Alan drug him to see this movie. And at one point, there's a jump scare moment where Nick just jumped up, hit Alan, and cussed him out.
Yeah. And he should have known better because the entire week leading up to it, we had conned him into watching all of the Aliens movies.
Yeah.
We knew what was fixing to happen.
Yeah.
But
You
yeah,
should have hit
it's
me up. I would have went with you to that one.
the Brave
I'm a
New
big
World.
Aliens franchise fan.
Yeah, I mean, I love Aliens, but to me, Brave New World is just not. There was nothing in the trailer that made me jump up and say, "All right, I need to take time out of my schedule for this."
That's
All right.
fair.
So let you agree to these things too readily, Aaron. So
Well, I mean, I understand completely though. Like there is a difference of like the
Yeah.
expectation and the prestige and the scheduling and the money. And I feel like that's the thing a lot of people struggle with. And then the business is also reflective of prioritizing streaming. Like I think a really good example last year, Disney released their Haunted Mansion movie in July, so that it could be on Disney Plus in October, the appropriate season to release that movie. So like
And I love
there is
and it wasn't that
Yeah.
good for a redo of Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
I was like,
No,
if
but,
you're
like,
gonna do Haunted Mansion, I feel like that they should put that one on one of their different productions companies and make it like scary.
that's right.
well,
Sure.
the Haunted Mansion attraction is not. It's
No.
partly scary, but it's a lot funny, and so it's a difficult bridge to navigate to be both of those things.
Yeah.
It's a challenge, and it's just they haven't hit it yet, as far as I'm concerned.
Ooh,
But
when
anyway,
Disney had the Muppets on there for Haunted Mansion, I was rolling on the floor every time.
oh,
because
Muppet
that
Haunted
was
Mansion
great.
was great, but that was only really hitting funny, not funny and scary, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to hit one of those. It's hard to hit both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Also,
anyway,
like,
so
Yeah.
Aaron, talk about Captain America: Brave New World, and what is it that you think? And then Matt, you chime in. What is it that you think makes it a good watch and worth somebody's time to go see? I'm not necessarily saying convince Alan, but convince Alan.
Yeah, sell me on this movie.
Actually, legitimately, I think I can, because you gave me some really good legroom in saying that you enjoyed the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show. I find it a little bit taxing because these movies that are direct sequels or direct follow-ups to things that were on Disney Plus are both formatted for people who have watched the show and for people who did not watch the show, which I think is good, but it also is kind of confusing. So the core heart of the story is based a lot in what Isaiah Bradley went through, in the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show. Isaiah Bradley is the fundamental core supporting character in it, and he's the heart of the film. If you didn't watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, that means a lot less to you. You also are kind of who's this old man? What's he doing? Or oh, Carl Lumley's in this movie, cool, and you kind of disregard it. And then if you did see it, it gives it a lot more emotional weight. So I think you would find stuff that you enjoy in it, Alan, because it thematically resonates a lot with what Falcon and Winter Soldier presented, not necessarily in plot, but in Sam, in his arc, in what they're doing, and in Isaiah and Joaquin. Those are both really important parts of it. But it's a very down the middle movie, I think, kind of across the board. It's down the middle politically, it's down the middle in terms of where its audience is coming in with it, and it just wants to give a character journey for Sam, and that it does in spades. Sam Wilson is a fantastic protagonist, and they are very determined on him being Captain America in a way that it is unquestioned. It's just oh yeah, he's Captain America. And I enjoyed building him to that point, because Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show was about bringing him to that point where he's okay with it and making sure that the world could catch up with him. This movie is about defining how his Captain America is different and what kind of values he's brought from Steve and brought to himself to be the best hero he can be, and to represent the core fundamental Captain America values in his way. And his world of that is so interesting. And that, I think, is the main thing in the film, outside of, a political intrigue, conspiracy, Manchurian Candidate, and then the president turns into the Hulk in the last 15 minutes.
See, I would have a lot of people having issues with Captain America not being Steve Rogers. It wouldn't matter who it is. A lot of people would have issues with that. And I would count myself among those in a lot of cases.
Mm-hmm.
In the comics, when they replace him with, what's his name? John Walker, for example. They were trying that. And if you look at it historically, they were trying to replace a lot of characters. They tried to replace Peter Parker as Spider-Man, Bruce Wayne as Batman. They were doing it across all these things. They're we want to keep the character, but we want to change out the person.
Yeah,
and it just doesn't work. It never works.
No.
But there are instances where it works. And in the comics, it's far from the first time that Sam Wilson has been Captain America. He's been Captain America several times. Sometimes he is and then he's not, and he is and he's not, and sometimes he is and he stays that way for a long time.
Yeah.
He is currently. But I think it would have ticked me off had the story not made sense for him to be Captain America. But at the end of Endgame, when Steve Rogers, old Steve Rogers, comes and hands him the shield and sits down, and it was such a perfect organic transition from one character to the other. That solves all my heartburn because it makes sense from a story perspective. It was a great organic transition, and that really worked for me. And I think if people would go back and rewatch that scene, if they flashed on that scene at the beginning of this as a prologue almost, I think that would remind people, oh yeah, he handed him the shield. He transitioned to this because he's old now. Steve Rogers can't be Captain America.
Yeah.
I think that probably would have helped.
Yeah. I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, Cap went back in time so that he could go back and be with Peggy.
Which was such a perfect wrap up of his story.
Yeah.
He got what he wanted and deserved. And the way that it even called back to the first movie where he was like, yeah, hold a dance for me.
Right.
All that. I was like, oh my God, this is so perfect.
No,
he got what he lost in the end.
Finally.
They did a great job with all that, and I understand what Aaron's saying. They did a really good job in getting Sam Wilson to that point in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think a lot of people just, for whatever reason, did not like Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I don't know why. I thought it was very well. It honestly, it felt like you could have edited every single one of those episodes together and released it as a movie. That's the way that it should have been done. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I could do this all day.
If you did like Falcon and Winter Soldier, though, you will like this because this is it's also the same showrunner. The showrunner from the TV show is a co-writer on the film, and then the director has a writing credit, and I think one other person. So it's bringing Sam as Captain America like into an example where you can just see him embody that and see what his like thesis and what his like I could do this all day kind of statement is, because it's not a question. Like it is, he is, and here's how we're going to define how his Captain America is. So it's like kind of like, to talk about the post-credit scene again, it's not getting the audience ready for Doomsday and for the like the next Avengers movie. It's about bringing Sam so that Sam is like the best protagonist by the time that movie happens. It's to bring him ready for him to get ready for Doomsday.
Because in the movie,
or to lead the Avengers, rather. In
the movie, Thaddeus tells him, "I want you to rebuild the Avengers."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Wait, what? You hated the enhanced people. You couldn't stand them. That's why you had the Sokovia Accords." But he tells him, he's like, "I want you to rebuild the Avengers." And Sam's just like taken aback. He's like, "Wait, what?"
You're the reason there aren't Avengers right now.
Yeah.
So I have a question on that. Well, you just reminded me. Yep. The poster, all the stuff that they use to hype this movie is really that image of him with the shield and Hulk, right?
Yep.
And I know it's a comic book, and I know we can only strain our, we're going to believe a lot, and we're going to suspend our disbelief. But just physics, right? Sam is just a dude.
Yeah.
And he's got a shield, and the shield very strong, very durable. Okay, Hulk punches that shield. There is nothing Sam can do to stop that shield from going straight through him and out the back.
Yeah, that's not a shot in the movie. They only do that for the poster, but they do to like on the general point of it. Sam is not a super soldier. He does not have, Steve Rogers' super strength, and they make a very big point of that. I think he breaks 4 bones over the course of the film, and like his injuries are like they're still like kind of cartoonishly like, no, he should be like concussed and bleeding, but with the exception of like a little bit of tonal armor, he is still taking hits and he is still getting injured. And also his entire suit is vibranium now. He got one in the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV.
His wings are vibranium made.
His wings are vibranium, and they do the Black Panther kinetic energy thing. So he has a little bit more in his arsenal to be like proper capital S superhero.
I mean, he doesn't get himself thrown around like Loki did in the Avengers, when the Hulk just sit there and flapped him back and forth like a flapjack. Now, he does have a tough time at first.
Flapped him back and forth like a flapjack.
Yeah.
How do you cook flapjacks?
2 pans. Instead of flipping the pancake, you just flip it into another preheated pan. So you have 2 pans on 2 burners, and you flip it into the one, and then you flip it into the other, and that's how you do it.
There you go.
The one thing I think...
Okay, that's a fair point, Nate.
Yeah,
he could punch right through Steve Rogers, too, theoretically.
Yeah.
But Steve Rogers at least has the enhanced strength and stuff that make it semi-plausible that maybe he could live.
They have different fighting styles, too. Like, I think people will be surprised at the action, not in terms of like the composition of the action scenes, but in terms of like how Sam is fighting, especially in comparison to how Steve fights, or even how Sam fought before, because Sam is not a new character. He's been playing this character for 11 years now. Like we've been in this, and his fighting style as Cap is very different too, because he is given more of a spotlight, so you can see more versatility there.
And he uses
can you
his
address
wings
this
a lot
question,
in the movie,
Jay, or Aaron and Matt? Can y'all address this?
I would love to.
No, I wasn't disappointed at all. Would I say it was the greatest Captain America Falcon movie? No, I think the show was better. But I also think out of the Steve Rogers trilogy, I thought Winter Soldier was the best one of the three. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the origin story for Cap, but I didn't like Winter Soldier as much. And I think mainly because of how much Marvel changed it up from the comic book. I was a big fan of the
You
Civil
mean
War
Civil
comic
War?
book. Yeah,
Yeah, you said Winter
I didn't
Soldier there,
like
and
how
I
they
thought you meant
changed it
Civil War.
up. So was this disappointing? No. Was it? Is it the best movie that Marvel has? I think it's the best one they've put out since. What are we on Phase 4, Aaron?
That
We
we're
on
in phase
Phase
five
4?
now. This is
Phase
phase five.
5. Okay. Well, between 4 and 5, after Endgame, this is probably one of the better ones, in my opinion.
I think fundamentally the expectation of it is going to be where you fall with how the film is like regarded. So it's like to answer the question, if you go in as like a Falcon and Winter Soldier fan or like as a Sam Wilson fan, like you're going to have stuff in it that you enjoy. And if you're going in based on only the bad reviews, you're going to be looking for it. So you're going to have a different takeaway. Like
That's
almost
what I
every,
do.
yeah,
I
every
go
person.
in when I go into a movie, Alan. I don't pay attention to what the critics have said. I don't pay attention to what the audience has said because I want to go in and make my own ascertain of what that movie is. Because I'm the one paying for the ticket. The audience isn't. The critics aren't.
Yep.
I
Oh
want
well,
to go
see
in with a
now hang on, because I'm probably one of the only few people that went to Batman versus Superman and enjoyed the movie.
I
I
liked
wanted,
it.
yeah, I mean, I could have cared less even what the comic book fans said. I thought that Jared Leto did a fantastic job with what he was given. At the end of the day, he was given something by the director, and he did a great job with what he was given.
I mean, let's be honest. Jared Leto did Gangster Joker with the grill. I mean,
Yeah,
I didn't like that Joker instance. To be honest with you, I've been always a fan of the original Joker, just being laughing and trying to one up bats all the time instead of trying to be like, "What's up?" And the grill. I thought that was stupid in the Harley Quinn movie, but I just Jared Leto to me is not a he's not an actor that brings it, in my opinion. Everything like they're casting him for Skeletor in the live action He-Man movie, and I'm like, are you kidding me? You could have found somebody totally better to play that character than him. I just don't think he has range as an actor.
see, I think he's going to be perfect for Tron Ares.
That movie's going to be weird.
I know, and I cannot wait. See, Tron. That is a movie that I grew up with the franchise, so I
Yeah, me
will
too.
make the time to go see.
Sure.
I was for the Tron sequel. I was hesitant because it had been so long from the original movie, and I was just like, I don't know. But I was also the same way when Ben Affleck was casted as Batman. I was like, no. I said he did terrible as Daredevil,
Yeah.
but he came through. And just like what's his name from the Glitter Vampire movies that played Batman.
Oh, Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, when Robert Pattinson came out and casted as it, I was just like, is he
I
gonna
really
glitter?
liked Ben Affleck's Superman.
What?
In Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh yeah. That was a good
When
movie.
he played George Reeves, I thought he was great.
I thought he did great in that. The Captain America Brave New World movie is all about the coming of Sam's age as he has matured himself as Captain America. But he also doubts himself a lot of times. There's even a cameo with Bucky in there where
Hey, spoilers, man.
It's okay.
No,
Uh,
I do okay with that. Because Falcon's in the hospital. He got shot down and he crashed pretty hard. So he was in there, and Bucky's running for Congress.
Are we talking about he crashed hard like Rhodey crashed hard?
Yeah.
Into the ocean. Yeah, there's a whole like
into
Top
the ocean
Gun.
this time around. Which
There's a whole
if you're
Top Gun
going
style
really fast into the ocean, it's kind of like glass when you crash into it.
Yeah.
So he's laid up in the hospital,
Yeah.
and he's sitting there saying, and telling Bucky, he's like, man, if I had the serum, I could have probably saved him. But he also says, Bucky tells to him and says, you know what? Steve couldn't save everybody either, and he had the serum. And it was kind of like he was doubting himself. And Bucky just basically laid it on him. He's like, dude, you can't save everybody, whether you have the serum or not. You just got to go with what you have. And I think that that's what it is. It's not just about Thaddeus. He's a minor character. It's about Sam's maturity and having to understand I can't save everybody, and I don't need the serum to do so. I can do these things because Rogers bestowed the shield upon me and bestowed the mantle of Captain America upon me. So I can't be Steve, but I can be Sam Wilson and can be Captain America.
Josh, what's that face?
I know what's going through my mind, that basically they had Bucky come in and give the Happy Hogan Peter Parker speech on the freaking Quinjet. So they basically ripped off another Marvel movie for that scene.
No, I don't think it's that. It's I didn't have that takeaway of that scene. To be honest, my takeaway of that scene was like that was Sam's coming to terms with like his faults as a hero and the system that he's been placed into. Because a lot of, at least thematically, they do this really interesting comparison between like the America that you're inheriting and the America that you're bringing into the future with you.
Yeah.
And defining Sam's arc in comparison to Steve. Steve has been mentioned maybe 3 times in the whole movie. Like he is a footnote of a footnote. It's very much about Sam and his instead of like Steve going against Hydra and realizing like that the sins of the past have followed into the present. Sam's arc in this is recognizing the struggles of the exploitation of the American people. There are 2 really keen examples in between Isaiah Bradley and the leader when Sam Stearns shows up, because he's like the main actual villain of it. Like it's still
he's running for a political office. He's not a politician yet.
They're gonna get to that in Thunderbolts. This was kind of just like a preview of why Bucky had to leave the scene so quickly. But that's like his arc in Thunderbolts. But like a big argument of what is presented in Brave New World is the exploitation of like people that can be used for the sake of the military. And Sam's a veteran, so he's like known this. This has been his bread and butter forever. But they draw a line between Isaiah Bradley and Samuel Stearns and explaining why Stearns has been absent since 2010, I think, in canon.
When the movie came out,
yeah, he's been gone from the narrative for 16, 17 years. And why? And they explain a lot of why, and like why he's the villain and why Ross turns into a Red Hulk in the first place is this is Stearns' revenge, and Sam is kind of like not a puppet in it, but he's the person that has to like draw the line in the sand and stop it. He's inheriting a lot of sins, and he's inheriting a lot of like political discourse and animosity. So Isaiah Bradley was kidnapped by the government, experimented on as a soldier, and then incarcerated for 30 years while he had his blood drawn while scientists were trying to recreate the super soldier serum. Sam Stearns was like force-fed and more gamma radiation on a daily basis directly into his brain to make him a privatized think tank for Ross's political career to progress. Developing like weapons and defense and like world politics strategies. And so these are 2 people that have been experimented on and exploited by their governments. And you see that contrast in where Sam is in the middle of that because he's not a super soldier. So he's like a neutral party in between the 2, trying to like cleared Isaiah's name. He's bringing Isaiah into the future to kind of like make up for the sins that have been done to him. And then for Stearns, he can't do that because he's bringing more people down with him and get that kind of argument out of it with what Sam's journey is. And so that scene in the hospital where Joaquin is injured on the brink of death in the same way that Sam's wingman from the military, Riley, was like before we even met him in Civil War. He doesn't want to lose other people. He doesn't want all of this progress, this cycle to continue to happen. So the speech that Bucky gives is Steve gave them something to believe in. You give them something to aspire to. And that's like the statement, because he's an everyman. He's a veteran who loves his country and is trying his absolute best to clear the sins that he's inheriting and bringing everyone into a better future. and it's a beautiful thing. And that's my favorite part. I just had to kind of do a little bit of mental gymnastics to get to that point.
Well, if you think about it, look what Steve was trying to do. He wanted so badly to join the military. He wanted to be one of the guys.
Yep.
He was trying to do everything possible to join the military, but he knew he couldn't. I mean, how many times does a guy go in there and try to fake his, his dossier to get into the military?
Yep.
It wasn't, and people like, well, Steve, like that line in the Avengers, nothing, what Stark said to Steve, everything special about you came out of a bottle. No, it was his heart that was special, because of the fact that he wanted to so badly serve his country, because Bucky did, and Bucky's his best friend. And in the same case with Falcon, with Sam, he just wants to do right by the mantle of Captain America. He wants to make Steve proud, and he also wants to have the American public aspire and feel like that he's the good guy. Even and the whole time in this movie, he's looking, because he knows Thaddeus and how Thaddeus was towards the Avengers and everybody else. He has self-doubts this entire movie, for the majority of the movie, about whether or not Thaddeus is truly trying to turn a new leaf or not.
Mm-hmm.
And you sit there and see him popping pills, and you don't find out until like 3/4 of the movie that those pills are laced with gamma rays.
Yep.
And he thought that they were supposed to keep him from having a heart attack. And they're actually trying to keep him from getting to be the Hulk.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Falcon,
I thought you would appreciate this comment.
I do very much. I have a framed Hawkeye book from that run on my wall.
Do you feel that parallel? Do you see that?
In terms of the like downtrodden, like I'm a superhero who without superpowers in over my head, absolutely. It's not done as comedically as the Matt Fraction Hawkeye is, because Sam does have like an arsenal of superpowered kind of weapons in his artillery. The vibranium and the biokinetic thing that Black Panther does.
Yeah.
Those are things that help him become a little bit more superhuman. But yes, he is in over his head, and he is one person trying to represent and idealize like all that could be for every permutation of person, and set an example. And you do get a lot of that, and I enjoy that about the film greatly.
So on the front of like the plot points, or not less the plot point, but the formula of the movie, the structure of the movie.
Yeah.
Is it the pretty simple structure of good guy, bad guy, big fight, over?
Yeah, a little
somewhat.
bit. A little bit.
It's a better build up towards the fight with Sam and the Red Hulk.
Yeah.
But also there's other fights that Sam has to deal with, and some trickery. He's sitting there thinking the whole time there's got to be something else going on, because he takes Isaiah. Isaiah's trying to turn over a new leaf, and he wants Falcon to go over there and train with him and stuff.
Oh yeah, very much. Yeah, like I think he breaks a rib in like the first fight.
Yeah.
He breaks a rib in the fight with the Serpent Society, and he's just like, oh god, okay, and he's like bandaged the rest of the movie. He's still doing crazy things that should like worsen that injury, and they just don't get to it. But yeah,
and he felt so bad because they go get invited to the White House to Thad for I can't remember exactly what the occasion was for, but he took Falcon with him, but he also took Isaiah with him. And Isaiah was like, "Are you sure this is okay?" He's like, "Yeah, come on." And then the next thing we see, after they all get together and stuff, and Sam and Thaddeus have a private conversation behind closed doors, the next thing we see is an assassination attempt on the president, and it's Isaiah and a couple of other people. And I'm just like, and you could see how bad Sam felt, because he felt bad on how Isaiah was treated. And he was the one who had the super serum, along with the other people. And I think a lot of the movie is just about the things that Sam deals with as having the mantle of Captain America, how he handles it as a non-super soldier, how an everyday human being who has no special powers, who doesn't heal instantly or anything like that, wants to save the world. And I think it's about his heart.
Yeah, it's the most
So
like overtly super heroic of a lot of
Yeah.
these movies late. Like he is very much a superhero placed on a mantle with a job and with a task to do, and he's placed in these situations where it is like, oh my god, there's no way a single person could handle all of that with like
Yeah.
the United States on the brink of war and like everything that's happening with President Ross and all of this political intrigue. It plays less like traditional good guy bad guy action scene and more like good guy political intrigue mystery underplot bad guy fight scene.
Yeah. There's a lot
Okay.
of there's a lot of politics in the movie, but the difference is compared to other Marvel movies, it's not to deal with what we're having in modern day. It's not rammed down your throat on this side or that side. It's just politics to deal with the story in itself, which it was very good. The politic aspect of it was good.
Now, Nate, I would argue that the Steve Rogers in the MCU, the
Yeah.
Steve Rogers handover of the mantle to Sam Wilson is a phenomenal example of handing over the mantle because at the end of Endgame, that was such a beautifully done scene, and it was such an organic handoff. I thought that was a great example of it.
It was so natural.
And also in the comics, in Ultimate Spider-Man, when Peter Parker died and Miles Morales picked up the mantle, that was a beautifully, organically told story. And that's why that works. And I'm convinced to this day it's one of the reasons that the character is still around, is because it was an organic handoff and it made sense. It doesn't make sense to randomly tell somebody, I know you were Thor today, but you're not Thor tomorrow. And like, I'm sorry, my mom named me Thor. Well, sorry, you don't get to be Thor anymore.
Right.
Somebody else is going to be Thor now.
Where is Thunderstrike? Where has he been? It's been 30 years. No one's seen him.
Yeah.
Eric I like the way Batman did it when Dick Grayson took the mantle of Batman for a while.
Well, yeah, that was meant to be temporary, but that was well done.
But, I mean, it's really not a passing of the mantle, and I'm all for if the story makes sense. But the way that they did it, it did leave the reader excited for the possibility of one day Bruce Wayne passing it to Dick Grayson. Yeah. Because we saw Dick Grayson as Batman and we believed that he was Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I see a lot more of like mantle sharing than mantle passing. They never remove the original character ever. Like Clint Barton and Kate Bishop are Hawkeye simultaneously. In like the comics, Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson are Captain America simultaneously. That was only ever not true, I think, when Bucky was Captain America because Steve had died. So like, or it's like a Green Lantern thing where it's like a title rather than like a specific hero mantle. I often see it shared more than like truly passed. And then when times when it does, it's like a Mr. Terrific kind of thing where it's like the second version of that character exists for so much longer that people forget there was an original.
Yeah.
So I think it really depends, but I think it's more often done better when it is a recycling of different tropes instead of it. This is my name and now it's yours, and they do something different with it. Like Kamala being Miss Marvel is a good example.
Yeah, or Steve Rogers becoming Captain Hydra. That would be interesting if they used the play of him getting shot for the Doomsday movie or something, because there's rumors all spreading around that that he's going to be Captain Hydra, and he's come out flat and said, "I'm not in it." Of course, you would say that, if you're being paid a lot of money to be quiet about it, you're not going to necessarily come out. But I think that would be a good twist. That he got shot but didn't really die, but it kind of changed his perspective of how he views America and decides to turn on America and become a Captain Hydra. I think that would be an interesting MCU aspect for the character.
He was mind controlled in Secret Empire, right?
Yeah.
Was it that?
And see, I would actually, and it's not going to happen, but I would rather see Kit Harington as a full-blown Black Knight in Secret Wars.
Yes.
Yeah. But he's supposedly in talks to play Hush in Batman 2.
Oh, is he?
I haven't heard that at all.
It's one of the rumors going around.
That's crazy. I'm really weird. Like, I don't really care if Nick Cage's Ghost Rider shows up for the Avengers multiverse stuff. I want like the characters that never got a chance. Like, I want like Kahori from What If, or like
I'd rather have the guy from Shield from the
Yeah,
Shield
or
series
like
do Ghost Rider.
oh
I
yeah,
thought
Robbie
he was
Reyes.
epic. Robbie
Yeah,
Ray was epic.
Yeah.
I liked his portrayal. I like that guy's portrayal of Ghost Rider better than I did Nick Cage. Nick just he overperforms, and that was some of the
What
things.
are you saying? How
I'm
can you
gonna kill the devil?
How
Yeah.
dare you? I'm riding with the devil.
I'm gonna do a big motorcycle chase. Yeah.
But that was actually coming back to Brave New World. That was some of the things that I took that I didn't like from Harrison Ford. When he tries to play somebody that's ticked off and angry, he just doesn't. It's not very organic. It's not very natural. It's really over the top acting. And I'm just like, stop playing yourself like you have in all these other movies where you get mad and want to, do something crazy. And that's one of the things I took that I didn't like was how he was acting when he was getting really angry.
Yeah.
See, I think
Like he was having a spaz.
I think he does a really good job with that when he has time to flesh the character out. He just got thrown into this, it seems like.
Right. Well, you got to remember the guy who played originally Thaddeus. He died 2 years ago.
Yeah, he passed away not too long ago.
He passed away, so he, they didn't
That
know
was
anybody else who to cast.
Hurt.
William Hurt.
William Hurt.
Yeah.
John Hurt died a couple years ago too, but
yeah, William Hurt died before production of this even started, so Harrison Ford was always playing him.
Yeah.
I think something that does not get brought up in conversation in reviewing this movie at all is how it's both like really seamless in him being Ross because the narrative treats it as if there's no change, which is because
he will do a really good job of that.
But also like Ford is playing him very differently, and I feel like if people didn't actively remember like General Ross's name from like Civil War or Infinity War, like they wouldn't remember that that's the same character. I love the performance, but I'm also like really kind of curious to see like what William Hurt would have done with it, or tangentially what Harrison Ford would have done with playing Ross this whole time.
Yeah, and that's the thing for me is what would Thaddeus Ross's character be like had Harrison played it from the beginning versus William Hurt? Nothing against William Hurt. I always enjoyed his movies that he was in. He's played different characters, but I love they did do some tie-ins from the John Woo Hulk movie.
There's a scene. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
There's a scene in Brave New World where the news is kind of recapping the events of 2008's Incredible Hulk because like that's a very important to the world building of this movie. But they give it to you in the narrative, so it's fine. You don't have to watch it. But there's a scene where they have Harrison Ford recreate one of William Hurt's scenes from that movie where he's like giving a press statement after like the destruction of Harlem from that Hulk movie, where he's got like the Thaddeus Ross like Thunderbolt mustache and he's in his like full lieutenant's form and he's just at a podium just screaming his heart out. I saw it with a group of friends and all of them like jump scared at that scene because they're like, oh my god. Like it was so alarming seeing Harrison Ford with mustache screaming like that.
Because you never see Harrison Ford in a movie with a mustache. He never has a mustache. He hardly ever has even facial hair for that matter.
Well,
except for
have y'all seen the footage of when they were originally going to cast Tom Selleck as Indiana Jones?
Oh god.
Oh my gosh,
it does not look right at all.
It does not look right.
No.
It's a screen test of Tom Selleck with what's her name who played Marion.
I'm blanking.
The mustache and he's built differently than what Harrison is. His shoulders are a lot more wide than Harrison's are, and he's a lot more taller. And the way his gait is for his walk is too.
Now, I don't know if I saw this somewhere or not.
There you go. There he is.
Hang on. This is odd.
Yep.
That looks like some kind of Western cowboy movie versus a screen test for
Quickly Down Under.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Quickly Down Under. And I could have swore I saw this somewhere, and I could be wrong. But did they introduce adamantium?
They did.
They did.
Yes,
So how did they
introduce
actually
the
introduce
adamantium.
that?
That was really what
Wildly.
the second part, the second half of the movie was about. Was these different nations fighting, almost fighting over,
Yep.
claiming of the island, Selena Island for the adamantium.
So
Hey,
Which is
and
where it
Canada
gets
won,
its internal
apparently.
tie-in.
no,
Huh?
weirdly, Canada's not in it. I feel like they should
Yeah,
have.
Canada's not in it at all. It's Japan, America,
Indian.
yeah, some of the other in the Indian Ocean at that.
Yeah, because it's colonization of like what international power is going to claim
Yeah.
like its body, like the head and the hand. There are mining operations inside of it that you don't get to see, but they tell you that's happening. And they extracted like a raw sample of adamantium, saying that maybe the skin of it, or like internally when Cersei killed it, that adamantium comes from the body of the Celestial. And so it's foreign powers trying to claim the island as part of like the land that they control, and adamantium. So Ross, because we haven't really talked about Ross a lot, Ross is dealing with a potential like arms race with the U.S. and Japan, which is as much Wolverine setup as you get. They do name drop adamantium quite a few times.
Yeah,
but
quite a bit.
That's kind of like
even at the beginning of the movie they do.
So they're worried about an arms race with one of our allies.
Well, it's like there's like a peace treaty, and it's all going to crap because it's all like stuff that the leaders' conspiracy theory is leading into, or not conspiracy theory, but like the leaders' calculations.
They found out that the adamantium that was recovered from one of the earlier villains in the movie was set up by the president the whole time, and Japan's like, we're not playing any of this. You can go to hell, basically.
Yeah, the leaders forged receipts and like made a paper.
And it creates a war in the Indian Ocean over Celestial Island, and of course, Falcon and Cap is there trying to save the day. But and I was hoping upon hope that this was going to be some kind of teaser, or ushering in the X-Men with a post-credit scene, and it was not. I was just completely disappointed about that. And I'm like, you're sitting here getting me all excited about adamantium, and there's no talk of the X-Men. There's no talk, or there's no post-credit scene for the X-Men coming in.
Yeah,
which was disappointing.
Yeah, it's sowing seeds for world building of like the kind of Japan that Wolverine would be inhabiting, and like how that team was formed, and the connection to the Celestial, which was part of, I think, the Karen Gillan X-Men run, like 2010.
I think it was.
I think it's more world building for how the mutants and Wolverine, like the kind of world that they would inherit. So it's like a footnote that would be expanded on there. It's not really a part of this.
Which I think Marvel has to get the Fantastic Four off first before they can get the X-Men going, because obviously, the Fantastic Four is the first family. They're back in the 60s, and that movie's going to be fantastic. I'm sure you're going to go see that one, Alan.
Fantastic.
I'll definitely be going to see it. I'll definitely be going to see the new Superman. I'll be going to see Fantastic Four.
What about Thunderbolts?
Thunderbolts, probably not. There's nothing so far in that movie to get me excited for it either. Now, in full disclosure, I have not seen Thor: Love and Thunder.
Don't.
I have not seen anything. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
I haven't either.
I have not seen Marvel.
Good. You guys should watch it.
Wakanda Forever is good.
Yes, it's fantastic.
Did not see. I have not seen this one, Brave New World.
I haven't watched She-Hulk.
It's fine.
I've watched
Moon Knight. I tried watching Moon Knight, and Moon Knight confused the crap out of me.
Finish it.
I didn't understand what was going on.
They explain it. That's part of the.
They explain it. You got to finish it, and you gotta watch the entire thing for them to explain it, and then them throw you another monkey wrench in the last scene.
No, it's a great monkey wrench.
Yeah, it's a great monkey wrench.
With Moon Knight that got me confused was the whole split personality thing that was just throwing me off the whole time. Even though that's his thing, that's what.
Well, how do you think it makes him feel?
Yeah.
I will say this, in the most recent issue of Moon Knight, and I know, Alan, you've read it by this point. I don't think you've read it yet, Aaron. Moon Knight is in a fight, right, with somebody. And as the fight is happening, you see Jake, one of his other personalities, is...
That cover, Alan. Show me that cover.
Show him the cover, Al.
Roll that beautiful bean footage. Oh my
Oh,
god.
that's beautiful.
Hang on, let me pull this up
Oh
here.
my god.
All right. So in this fight,
Midnight.
you see Jake Loxley, whatever his name is. Jake, one of Moon Knight's other personalities. You see him watching the fight, and it's like he's in a bar watching it at a sports bar, watching it on the TV, and he's yelling at the TV. It's hysterical.
I was trying to find that page. There you go, Aaron. That's one of the shots of the book right there.
Hang on, Aaron's not there right now. Here you go.
Ooh. Can you show
I
me
got
the
something for
him,
you.
like in the little mind bar? Because I was imagining Inside Out, to be honest.
Oh no.
I'm trying to find it.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a great issue. I mean, it was a great issue.
Yeah, James, you had to know what you were in for She-Hulk. You had to have been familiar with the John Byrne run from the 80s.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with She-Hulk at all.
You had to
I
know
knew
what it was,
she
because if you
existed.
knew what that John Byrne run of She-Hulk was, the show was exactly
Yeah.
the John Byrne run of She-Hulk.
She breaks the fourth wall too, just like
All the
Deadpool.
time.
Yeah, honestly, they shouldn't have called it She-Hulk Attorney at Law. They should have just called the show Sensational She-Hulk.
Sensational Shield.
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk.
Oh,
Because that was the name of the John
Sensational
Byrne
She-Hulk,
comic.
So, Aaron, it's just one little panel in there where you see Jake sitting at the bar, watching Moon Knight fight on TV, even
And
though the
yelling at
bar
the
is
TV.
inside his own head.
And
And
yelling,
yelling
at the TV.
screen.
Yeah.
It's hysterical. And
I've
so while
actually
we're
never
talking
read
some
it.
comics,
This is my first Moon Knight book ever. This is one where he defeats
hang on.
the Juggernaut.
Oh, that's a great issue. Have you read it yet?
No, I haven't read it yet. I literally.
Oh,
just
that was what
opened
you were
it.
opening?
Yeah, that's what I was opening. I just got this.
I'm so excited for you to read that issue. It is so good. You will walk away from that wanting to read more Moon Knight, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, but I got to show you guys something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because a couple of things.
Podcast. Let's do it.
Do it. It has begun. Whoa, wait, what?
It's a metal cover,
Ooh.
and
I
that
can't
makes
tell
me
what the
really
logo
mad
is.
about this grade.
A U and a 5. The disavowed, weaponized nostalgia special. What is this?
This is from Josh Blaylock, who took over the G.I. Joe license after the Marvel run ended.
Okay.
And he went on and he continued the G.I. Joe legacy a different way, but he continued it. And it was good stuff. He had an idea to, like, what if I wanted to write G.I. Joe, but I don't have the rights to G.I. Joe? And what if I wanted to do it like the ultimate 80s book? Which means doing it like the ultimate 80s movie. So you think to Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, all these guys, Jesse the Body Ventura, lots of gratuitous explosions and
Typical
a lot
80s action movie.
a lot of language, typical 80s action movie. That's what this book is, right?
Uh-huh.
With the, and this is it's essentially G.I. Joe. But they're all gone now. It's gone.
Disavowed.
They're over. They're done. Yeah, it's called Disavowed. And the story is a dual story. You've got all the 80s gratuitous action movie, shoot 'em up, bang, bang, blood, guts, all that.
Yep.
And then you also have a kid in the early 2000s, a young man, who his dad was in this group. And he is like trying to research it and figure out what's going on. What happened to his dad. And it's pretty cool. It's a fun book. This is just a preview. I'm just mad because this is a metal cover, guys. That's metal.
And they
This
gave you
book
an
came
8.5
back at
off of
8.5.
it?
They said that the back cover has extensive staining and soiling. And I would like you to tell me where that is. I hate to break it to them. That
can you have a
blood is
stain?
part of the design.
Oh, someone's bled on it. It's
The
stained.
blood is a part of the cover itself.
That book is a biohazard. Give it an 8. 8.5.
That makes me mad. I'm ticked off about that.
Is there any way you can protest it?
Well,
Protest the
they
grade?
did this one time before, and I thought that was a stupid grade that made no sense. So I just cracked it out and sent it straight back. And it came back a 9.6.
Yep.
I think they gave the wrong book analysis to this book or something.
Yeah.
This is just wrong.
How
But
does one crack one of those open? I've always wondered. Is it a
you
process?
it's not easy, but yeah, you can heat them up a little bit, and you can put things down in here. They also make a tool to do it for people who do it professionally.
Word.
But yeah, it's a pain. So then I got this one, which I know you like, Matt.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
It should have been a
Nice.
9.8. That's beautiful. I got to get mine.
It
graded.
should have been. I wish it were.
What they
but
said was
Fantastic cover.
I got this because of, gosh, that glare is awful.
it is.
That's
This-
worse than the glare off my forehead.
Right here.
Yep. Josh Olive.
I
Who is
love
this fella?
You need to get the one with Alex in this last one, number 3. You need to get graded for Alex being in the cover, for being in the back for the in memoriam.
Yes, I do. But that came back a 9.6. I'm okay with that. I'm not thrilled with it. I'm not thrilled with a 9.6. It should have been a 9.8.
Yeah. What did they
But
say
this-
was the 2 points off for it?
They don't tell you if it's
Just maybe a smidge or something.
if it's 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100. They don't tell you. Oh hi. They don't tell you what they knocked on it unless you're like a 9.2 or below.
Oh, okay.
Is typically the case. Now this one more than makes up for these other 2. Because this one I'm going to cover up the grade.
Hi, buddy.
This one is the Haven Comics exclusive. Now it said that on the invoice that they sent us, it acknowledged that it's the Haven Comics exclusive, but on the label it just says VHS edition. So that's a shame.
Yeah.
But this is a Haven Comics exclusive. There are literally only 10 copies of this book in existence. 10.
Whoa.
Okay? It's Mark Spears Monsters #1. It's you see VHS cover because you still like the old stickers on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You
then
were
the tears up here,
Yeah.
like the card, and you can see the cardboard underneath,
Mm-hmm.
like it tore, and the stickers that are peeling up and all this stuff and have writing on them.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. So there are 10 of these in existence.
Whoa.
Hot dog.
Wow. 9.9. That's a rarity.
I didn't know
That's
they.
the first 9.9 I've ever gotten. And you see how dark, because that's a black label on the 9.6, 9.8. When you get to 9.9s and 10s, it's actually a light gold color. It looks like it's a faded black, but it's not. It's actually a gold color.
You ought to crack that one open and get Mark to Mark sign it for you, and you sign it, and then send it back off and get that gold label for it.
There is zero chance I am cracking a 9.9.
The finger oils will make it a 9.6. Don't do it. Don't even look at that book if you crack it open. Don't
Zero
even,
Not happening.
the UV rays that hit it the second that plastic seal is broken will ruin it forever.
Right.
Here's the thing, though, right?
Awesome.
The back
was great.
of it, like inside the back covers and such on all these books, like on this one, they tell you how many copies there were of the different covers, right?
Right.
So this one, let me get my eyes up here. There are 290.
290 for that.
That's how many were printed.
That was the number 1, number 2, second reprint, right?
This was the second print of issue #1, but
Right.
it was a 1 in 20 variant. So you had
Right.
to order 20 copies of the second print in order to get this.
Ooh.
So only 290 copies of this exist in the world.
Such
Now
a
to
good.
get those, is that set by Mark or is that set by the people that distributes his book?
It's how if they decide to offer an incentive, a ratio incentive,
Uh-huh.
it's just set by how many people order enough to qualify for the ratio and order the ratio.
So is it the publisher, the one that determines the ratio and the
Yeah,
incentive?
yeah,
Okay. Mark has nothing to do with that.
yeah. No, I mean he might have some say on it. I don't know,
Yeah.
but they do a 1 in 20, they do a 1 in 50, they do a 1 in 100,
Mm-hmm.
right? But there's only 290. Most books don't tell you how many copies there are of each cover, but this one has 290 copies. That's it. That's all that exists of this one.
That's
Whoa.
beautiful.
And yet, that is orders of magnitude over how many exist of this.
How many is those?
10.
10?
10.
10. I give it a 10.
Give it a 10. That
There-
would have
Yeah,
been awesome if you got a 10 for the grade out of 10 available covers of that. That would have been awesome.
Don't think I don't know that.
Yeah.
But a 9.9 on the hottest comic book creator on the planet on the rarest of all rare books. I don't even know how to put a price tag on this.
I'll give you $10 for it.
I will if you make that hourly installments for a year.
I'll
maybe.
give you
It'd probably be, I'd say maybe 500 or more.
I would think that you are
Okay.
several $1,000s below. Some of these books, there's only one copy of the first issue that has been graded at a 9.9, and it's the regular cover, right? It's just the regular cover A that has been graded at a 9.9, and that book is sold for $1,200.
Wow.
And that's the regular cover that there's a bunch of.
Wow.
You factor in the rarity of this.
Right, because you only get 10 copies out in the wild. Well,
and there's only one graded at a 9.9.
Wow.
It's a one of one in the world.
Did you tell Mark?
Oh yeah.
What did he say?
He just sent me a big smiley face.
You don't care. I guess he didn't care that much.
Well, I mean, it doesn't do anything for him.
No.
But no, I think he was like, that's awesome, man. I'm glad for you. I just wish it was a book that I wanted to sell. As opposed to I only have one copy of it, and that's mine, and it's the Haven exclusive.
And it's one of those that once it's gone, it's gone. You're not getting another copy of it.
You'll never get another copy, ever.
That's one of those.
You know that picture that I texted you of that one cover, and I said I haven't even seen it on eBay. It's the EC Comics homage variant.
Yeah. I found a couple on eBay. It just took a while.
I still hadn't seen any on eBay, and I finally found out tonight that it's the Nirvana Comics exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
How in the world did I end up with the Nirvana Comics exclusive?
Because that was one of the comps that Mark got, and he very graciously gave it to you.
Because he's a beautiful man.
He is.
How much were they going for on eBay? Did you notice?
That particular one was going for $250 thereabouts.
Oh, nice. All right, things that I need to sell Matt Posey on.
Hang on, what you got there, Matt? Let's
Monsters.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
She kind of reminded me of a female version of Samuel L. Jackson's character from Marvel.
Well,
I was thinking
Fury. She's like the female Fury.
Yeah, that's what she's supposed to look like.
But like Hasselhoff Fury.
Huh? Yeah. You hush your mouth.
Did you say Hasselhoff?
I know Josh has read it, but have either one of y'all read One World Under Doom yet?
I got that One World Under Doom already. I haven't read it yet, but I got it.
I'm itching to read it.
I think I'm waiting on to get Doomsday or the Academy of Doom
Academy,
and then read those side by side.
Yeah, that came out this week, didn't it?
Doom Academy came out yesterday. Yeah.
I haven't been to the shop. I'm gonna come by Saturday since I took off Saturday. I'm gonna come by and hang out with you.
Sweet.
Tell me about Doom. I'm excited.
I like how Doom is very. He comes across as very even keel. This is what's going on. This is how it's going to happen. This is all there is to it.
Yeah.
How the heroes are like, all right, we're going to load up. We're headed to Latvia. We're going to handle this, and they get to Latvia, and they
Latveria.
Latveria.
You've been in this game too long to not know that.
Look,
Come
I
on now.
struggled with certain words my entire life, and it's Latvia. I get over
Is that like the manatee horror?
the manatee horror.
I love that manatee the manatee horror thing.
Yeah, the
That was
manatee
just
horror.
hilarious.
Sometimes I can read a word and it makes sense in my brain, but it is not what that word says.
Yeah. The
Your
manatee.
brain just comes up with
Well,
alternate.
it's a
ways of
character
saying
from Hyde
things.
Street. It's a character from Hyde Street and we just met him in the last issue, and
What is
he's
that?
he's the matinee horror,
Yeah.
right? But
And
it came out of his mouth, the manatee horror, and the visual was so funny to me.
It was.
If you make that character a manatee with the mask, the hood and the eyeballs and all that, I was dying. And so I shared that with some of the creators at Ghost Machine, and they were rolling. I guarantee you, Ivan Rice has drawn a manatee horror.
I
since
literally read it. It's like that one issue of Detective Comics. I could have swore that guy told Batman that he was the arugula.
The arugula.
Now
That's a name I haven't heard of in 40 years.
I know. Now,
What
the
were
night
you
that I read that, in my defense, that particular night, I was suffering from a wicked sinus infection and probably had just a little bit too much Sudafed.
What is the word you're trying to say? Or what did it actually say? I don't understand.
Oh, it was some
It was a weird word.
yeah, it was
like a Greek word.
some like Roman thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was maybe
Now, hang on,
one
let's answer James's question real quick.
It's James.
Yes, he is Dr. Doom, Sorcerer Supreme, and that means he comes with tomatoes and sour cream.
Yeah.
From my understanding,
He's a very well done taco.
Now, one thing that I did not realize about One World Under Doom, I did not realize that it was taking place over multiple titles.
Yeah.
Is Ryan North writing every single one of those for this one issue for each of them?
He's writing the main story and he's writing FF.
Yeah.
It's
a main story with crossover stuff, but no, he's not writing all the different books.
Yeah. It's
okay, gotcha. And I noticed that they had to do 2 X-Men comics, I guess, to try to boost the sales
of the X-Men.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm composed.
Look at that face on Alan.
That was rough.
I have not bought an X-Men comic book in years, and they're going to force me to buy 2 X-Men comic books so I can complete this story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
They don't do the Blood Hunt route where it's like.
I'll probably just keep the main story itself and not the additional spread offs as they were. Kind of like the Blood Hunt. Now, some of the Blood Hunt spin-offs were pretty good.
Yeah. I wanted to be
not all. The Blade one was not bad.
Sorry.
Honestly,
I think there must be a little bit of lag because everybody keeps talking over you, Aaron.
All good.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I hope it's not like how Blood Hunt was formatted, because Blood Hunt, like, you needed to read the tie-in issue over the course of, like, every book that was getting published at the time.
Which was irritating.
From, like,
that was very irritating.
There were 3 issues. Yeah. I hope One Nation Under Doom does not do that. But what I will say, just to answer James's comment a little bit, the end of Blood Hunt, Strange died. He gets murdered by Blade and, like, the Vampiric Council in that book. Strange's, like, astral form, time loop, whatever, like, vehicle he uses for his temporary resurrection, he gives the mantle to Doom conditionally. He says, I'm giving you this because you are the most qualified person to be the Sorcerer Supreme under one condition. You only use it to save the world. And Doom agrees, because he's a gentleman, and they shake hands, and then they shake hands, and all of it's done. And when the
He's
vampires
got
are
his fingers crossed behind his back the whole time.
no, actually, it's cooler than that.
I'm kidding.
When they make their deal and all of the vampires are dealt with and all is said and done, because Doom like had connections to vampire stuff to make him qualified to take care of the threat. But once all of them are eliminated and the story's over, Strange comes back with his body, his like permanent body, and he's like, "All right, dude, hand it over. This is what we agreed on." He goes, "I can't hand this back to you right now." He's like, "Why?" He goes, "Because the world isn't saved yet." Meaning like it's his supervillain time to make the world in his image as the official, the Shantia proven Sorcerer Supreme. So that's why he has the cloak and the eye, because he's officially Sorcerer Supreme now, and Strange can't do a damn thing about it.
Well,
I mean, who didn't see that coming? I mean,
that said, Doctor Strange during this time period of Doom, One World Under Doom, goes to Asgard and becomes the Sorcerer Supreme of Asgard.
Yeah.
Yep.
In his ghostly form.
He's got a body now.
Yeah, he's got a body now.
He figures something out. He always does.
Now, I wonder if that's going to set up a fight between the two Sorcerer Supremes.
Of course it is.
And then Clea's a Sorcerer Supreme
That's
too.
a give me right there.
Yeah.
Alan.
So I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm struggling with the purchase of X-Men comic books. I really am. I'm like struggling, like keeping me up at night with the thought of that. So
would it make you feel better if I gave you those 2 X-Men comics?
You know what? I might just sit on the couch and read them. I don't know.
Now, I will say this, since you guys haven't read the book yet, One World Under Doom. The other thing that happens here is it's very clear, and I think Ryan North does a really good job of this. Doctor Doom is absolutely playing chess while everybody else is playing like Chutes and Ladders.
Yep.
Every time they're like, "Oh, we've got it. We're going to do the thing." And Dr. Doom is like, "Idiots." He lets them try and then shows them, and then he uses their attempt to show the world that they're morons and that his way is obviously superior.
I love him so much. He's such a butt. I love him.
He's playing chess. Everybody else is playing checker. He's always calculating.
I love him.
Oh, well, it's on full display in this book.
Now, I am prepared to argue with people over this, but I think that definitely what's been going on in the Marvel Universe is on my side. Ryan North and Jed McKay are the unsung heroes of Marvel right now.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, it's honestly, they should build a Marvel comic book universe around what those two guys are doing.
Yeah,
now,
not gonna lie.
I am interested in seeing how the whole Zdarsky on Captain America run goes.
Very interesting.
But I mean, at the same time, though, that's Zdarsky. I mean, even Zdarsky is like the pizza of comic book writers. Even a bad book is good because it's his.
That's what I'm saying. If you can write Daredevil and Howard the Duck like as powerfully as he does, like you've made it. You've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you made both of those characters compelling. I love this.
Now,
right, what book you got next, Alan?
One thing that Matthew Rosenberg has done in the latest issue of DC versus Vampires World War V, he
Really
made me
good.
actually like Guy Gardner.
That's not possible.
He's a punk.
Guy
Gardner is the biggest jerk of the Green Lantern Corps.
What is this costume?
So what's
happening
going
with
on here is
That doesn't
Guy
look like Guy
Gardner
Gardner.
pretty much gets ripped apart by Wonder Woman, and he's only held together by his power ring. So he's having to constantly think about the anatomy of the human body from pretty much the chest down. And the entire time he's doing it, he's training Alfred to be the next Green Lantern.
Oh, okay. I was like, that is not a Guy Gardner face.
That's
What's
not
that?
Sinestro. It looks like
Alfred is
Sinestro.
now a Green Lantern, and this was just a great issue.
That's awesome. Wait.
I don't know if I'm
hey.
buying the whole thing of Alfred being the next being in the Green Lantern Corps. I don't know about that.
I love that.
Let's talk about this for a second, though. These are all things that we can bring to the show on March 6th when we have Matthew Rosenberg on the show. That is unhappy looking.
Yeah,
That is very unhappy looking.
now Guy Gardner will change it up just to have something different. So he's got like a spider body and then a snake body over here.
He's using his ring to give him her portal body. That's interesting.
Yep, he's using his ring, and
Corporal.
You read this issue. Guy Gardner ultimately ends up being the best possible teacher that Alfred could have had.
Mm.
And I mean, it was, and I'm not a Guy Gardner fan on any level. I'm really not. But this was just, I mean, Matthew Rosenberg did a brilliant job writing this story.
And Matthew Rosenberg is going to be our guest on the show on March 6th.
I know, and I can't wait to talk to him about this.
That's what, 2 weeks from today?
Yeah.
I was so distracted by Guy Gardner's like Medusa body and like the creativity of that I like didn't even process that. I was imagining more like a Mr. Nobody from Doom Patrol kind of thing, where he's like hacked in like random pieces and he's like more of a mosaic being held together like by the green light. That is so much cooler. I love that.
What else you got, Alan?
And he even makes the comment about basically having to know human anatomy to pull off what he's doing.
Yeah, the organs and everything. Ooh.
Yeah. Now, this next book, I don't know if many of y'all have heard of this one. It was one that I just picked up just to see if it was going to be any good, and it was fairly decent. And that was Absolute Batman issue number 5.
I don't think anybody's heard of that one.
I know it's like this little thing that DC's doing that not a lot of people have heard of.
I thought he was going to say Care Bears or something.
Only like the #1 best-selling comic of the entirety of last year. No biggie, whatever. We don't read comic books.
No,
for movie material. What? That's funny.
And here comes your big spoiler alert for this issue if you have not read it. That last panel flat out gives off Purge vibes.
Yeah, that does.
Are they sweet tooth animal creatures or are those masks?
Those are masks.
Okay, cool.
Basically, Gotham City has been handed all the weapons and all the masks to just tear itself apart now. And it's almost like they just set up the Purge in this issue. I thought that was brilliant.
It's horrifying. Hope its hydrochloric acid bomb packs are still at the ready.
Yep. We've got Ash Arden now. This was another fun issue. I mean, pretty much everything Ghost Machine does is fun and good, and you need to be reading it. And I think that First Ghost has a release date now.
First Ghost?
Yeah, I saw something about there was an announcement with Jeff Johns and Brad Meltzer, because Brad Meltzer's writing First Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some type of announcement about it. I'll try to find it here in just a minute. And then my final one, because I know, well, actually, it's not as nice as what I thought it was. Aquaman #2. So good. So good.
I don't know anything about this run of Aquaman. I was waiting to actually hear. Like, what is?
You know what? Here's the thing about it. Pick up issue 1 and grab issue 2. You don't need to know anything about what. I mean, it's literally just picks up where, you know, it fits right in with current DC continuity with what's going on with Apocalypse and everything.
Sure.
You don't need to have any big, massive backstory for anybody that's wanting to try out Aquaman. Literally, this is the perfect Aquaman run to pick up.
Good. I'm glad they need more of that. Everyone needs more of that.
Well, Aquaman has Mira's powers now.
Yeah, that's the only thing you need to understand is
he doesn't have his own powers. He has Mira's powers.
Is she dead or is she sharing?
Well, after the events of Absolute Power last year, when Amanda Waller had the ability to take people's powers away, some people got their powers back and some people didn't, and some people got other people's powers.
Oh.
And he got Mira's powers.
Is Mira depowered now?
It's kind of like Scooby-Doo, the Scooby-Doo movie.
You'll see. But she kind of teaches him how to use these powers. And this is a power that makes more sense for Aquaman, if I'm honest.
Yeah, Aquaman should be hydrokinetic. That should be a thing he has.
The
He should
thing
be the most
about
powerful
this,
of their group.
the thing about this right here is what he's saying. He can feel all of it. He can actually feel the water in his own blood that's been spilled.
Yeah,
So,
I see
yeah,
blood
it
droplets
gets,
in the
this was a
background.
this was
Another.
a good issue.
Another fun thing in that book is there's a throwback to an old DC series that started in like 1981, 82. It was called Arion, Lord of Atlantis.
Yes,
wow.
I remember
And
this.
it was like a fantasy book.
That sounds ominous.
It was a total fantasy book.
Is this the demon one, or is this like Princess Amethyst of Gem World?
Oh, no.
Is this the demon one?
No.
I can see this in
Neither.
Hang on.
Not the old series. Jan Duursema did the pencils on the old series.
I got an X-Men book for you, Alan.
Oh, he loves those.
What issue is that? I can't. It's got a glare on it.
Oh yeah, this is the one I was
129.
because this has like early Damien Hellstrom vibes to me.
Yeah, look it up for 1981, 1982.
X-Men number
Specifically, look
129.
up Arion, Lord of Atlantis #2, because that was in the grocery sack of comics I got in my yard sale buy when I was 8 years old.
Oh.
So Arion, Lord of Atlantis, shows up in Aquaman #2.
This one?
That's it. That's it.
The Eye of Damnation.
But he has been held prisoner for God knows how long by this person who, it's like on a desert world. And this person holds these people prisoner and sucks the water out of their bodies, essentially. And so here he is, the king of Atlantis, he's just being kept there as like a water battery, essentially. It's pretty impressive. I love the throwback to him and bringing him in. Really interesting.
Give me just a second.
That's awesome. I like that though. That's a really fun idea.
Now,
It is.
The last page of this issue was brilliant and creepy at the same time.
Yeah, it's like the last page of the first issue. You were like, oh.
Yeah, they've done this is, I mean.
Somebody die?
Do what?
Did somebody die?
No, but it's.
Okay, it's been a month since the first one came out. Let's just say it. The last page of the first issue, Atlantis and everybody in it has disappeared. And when Aquaman comes zooming back because something just happened and he knows it, the only thing where Atlantis should be is a giant portal in the shape of the Omega symbol of Darkseid.
Oh.
Oops.
So issue 2 is Aquaman going through that portal.
Wow.
That's fun.
Is that how the second issue ends?
That's how the second issue starts.
Oh, okay.
As he goes through that portal.
That's awesome.
So he's going to Darkseid's realm.
But the second issue ends with something that will get your attention, but we're not going to spoil that because that book just came out yesterday.
Spoiler alert.
What did?
Aquaman.
No,
that was last week. That was last week.
Last week.
That was
Still,
last
though,
week. You're right.
Aquaman #1 has been out a month. I may have, when I come over Saturday, I may have to park my butt on the couch and read the Aquaman.
I have had to reorder more copies because we sold out
Really?
of Aquaman. I know.
Yes.
Wow. I can't
How's
add
his
any
name
more.
spelled for Lord of Atlantis?
I
It's
can't add
Arion.
any more.
It's Arion. Arion, Lord of Atlantis.
And
I
that
can't
was
add any more to
literally-
my box. I'm already.
That was it.
Especially for the I got the one shots of the Godzilla ones that you told me I should get, which when I went in there last week on Thursday to get my books, you already had stamped me on those. I was like, that butthead.
Bald man.
Hey, I know what you like.
Yeah, it's like my own crack dealer.
Tap that vein. It's all good.
Who's Captain Bald Man?
There's only one person
Alan,
on this show.
obviously.
Oh, there were some shots of Captain America where like the light source would be like just behind his head, and his hairline is like so high up on his head that a lot of people like reposted it saying he looked bald. So I thought that was where we were going. But no, yeah, Alan, come on.
Have you guys thought about doing a live at the expo? Shop Talk live at the expo with maybe Chris Claremont and Mark together?
So I have gone live at the expo before, and that where everything is set up at is not very kind to the signal. It goes through, but the picture quality goes like down.
Yeah.
It's just all back and forth. And I
Well, you could do it at the hotel or something, maybe wherever they're staying at or something.
Honestly, I wanted to go live Friday night last year because I figured Friday would be the best time to go live.
Yeah.
And Josh was so covered up with people at the Haven booth that even I was in the Haven booth just talking schmack and dealing with customers trying to help him out. I mean, it was ridiculous how busy it was Friday and Saturday both.
I have a feeling it's going to be the same way this year.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a huge year.
I'm excited.
I'll come help out if they don't need me over at the spinner rack. I'll come help y'all out.
Absolutely.
Well, see, every time somebody would ask, "Hey, do you have such and such?" I'd be like, "No, but you need to check Steve at the spinner rack."
Yeah. Yeah, we got a lot of people that would come over to us, and we'd be like, "If it's not in this square here, we ain't got it."
Yep.
Because Steve really has his stuff together because it's all alphabetized.
It's beautifully organized. I'm
is
so
beautifully
jealous.
Organized. And those tables, y'all think it's just tables, man?
No, he's genius. He designed and built those
setup. He just sits there and puts those out from under, back underneath, stacked on top, put them together. And I mean, for the last 3 or 4 years, I'm just like, this is probably the easiest breakdown of a booth.
Set up and tear down.
And set up, and I haven't had the pleasure of the setup, but I imagine it's because all you're doing is rolling it in and just boop, boop, boop.
Yeah, it's he designed and built those tables, and that's actually his second design because the first one he'd done just out of wood and they didn't hold up.
Oh, okay.
So he built a second design that and it's incredibly well done.
Yeah, his setup is he probably has the best setup for convention.
You know how I can tell Kaylisa's not watching tonight? We haven't seen Kitty pop up in the comments.
Yeah, I know.
I try to supply the cat cam wherever possible, and Mason has been like, I pick him up every time he's like actively like circling around
my cat. Arwen does not like me picking her up. She'll go
brushing my legs, so he keeps like being a pill. I mean, love him.
Our cat doesn't like to be picked up either, and she will she doesn't mind so much if Leslie does it, but she doesn't like it when I do it. Every time I pick her up, all she does is look frantically at the ceiling fan. Like, are you gonna try and chop my head off? What are you doing?
Mason kind of like ragdolls, and then he'll like be still for like a second, and then he'll like squirm, and he's very polite about it. But I know.
So, Alan, this year, since we've only been in 2 months, what has been your favorite book of 2025?
Ooh, that's a rough question.
So, if we're going with new books, I'm going to say Aquaman. I was pleasantly surprised by the first issue of Aquaman, but then I was like, okay, anybody can come out with a strong first issue. Let's see how they follow it up.
Right.
And the second issue, for lack of a better word, was riveting. I mean, the second issue is a legit page turner. So, yeah, I've definitely been impressed by Aquaman so far.
Who's writing Aquaman?
Jeremy Adams. Is that right?
I believe so. Yeah, Jeremy Adams.
What else has he wrote before? Anything that comes to mind?
Oh, God, I can't.
Several books at DC.
Yeah.
Must not have been that really big because you can't name the titles.
Well, he's relatively new.
Oh, okay.
And so he's taken several books and has done well with them to the point where they said, okay, here's you a flagship character. Go forth and make this, remind everybody that this is a flagship character.
Did you? So he's written a lot of Green Lantern. Did you read the Green Lantern Green Arrow special that come out about a month ago, or it might have been last month when it came out? He
No,
wrote
Yeah,
that, and that
I'm
was
not
really
big
good.
on
And
the Green Arrow,
he's
Green
written a
Lantern
ton of Green
crossover.
Lanterns and a little bit of Flash.
a lot of the last Green Lantern, like basically every Green Lantern thing over the last like 2 or 3 years.
I was a big
Oh,
fan
and
of
he did
Jeff Johns' Green Lantern.
And
When
what?
Jeff Johns started writing the Green Lantern, I was
Flash
a big fan of that.
Did you say Flash Gordon?
Yes,
Yep, he wrote some Flash Gordon too.
he
Oh,
did
really?
Flash and Flash Gordon. Yeah,
Oh,
That's trippy.
Savior
Yeah.
of the universe.
that's awesome.
What
No,
about
he's
you,
Yeah.
Josh?
spectacular.
Do what?
What about you? What has been your favorite so far of 2025?
Series or individual book?
Either or.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, it's hard to beat GI Joe. I legit am looking forward to that every single month. I'm
Yeah.
excited for it. That said, I do like this uh, Aquaman story. I've really enjoyed that so far. Um, oh, that's so hard. I think Absolute Superman is one of my favorite books on the planet right now.
I have to agree with that. I think the Absolute Superman has been one of those. Let's completely change what you know of Superman and show him in a different cosmic light, if you were. I think that both that and Batman, because they're completely different from your just general Superman and Batman runs. Wonder Woman has not hit home for me. I've been bored with each issue, and I was just like, I'm only getting it, I think, because of the fact that it's part of the absolute universe. But I'm not a fan of it. It has not been able to keep my attention to it.
Yeah, same
I
for
love
me. Absolute Wonder Woman kind of got my attention with the first issue. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll take a look at this. And then it just has done nothing since then for me.
Mm-mm.
Now,
I
what
love
about
it
you?
conceptually. I'm
What,
out.
Do
what
what?
are
Aaron?
y'all reading that y'all absolutely love? Both of y'all.
I say the Hyde Street books have been very interesting. When I picked up the first issue, when y'all talked about it, I was sold on it. I'm very much looking forward to reading my first Daredevil book. Crossing into 2025, I've got to say Monsters. I really, really enjoy. I'm a super fan of Mark Spears.
I'm
I
excited
really,
for you to read the fourth issue because the
yeah.
fourth issue is where the story really takes off.
That's what he was saying on his Facebook page that he
And he's
still has
right.
yet to follow me back on.
Yeah, the first three issues are a lot of setup, and the story
Yeah.
really starts to take off with the fourth issue.
But the way he's going about, I mean, it's something completely different. People say, "Oh, it's Universal Monsters," but it's not. It's
No.
nowhere near that. And I just think that he's been knocking it out of the park. Absolute Batman has been enjoyable for me. I'm a big Batman fan, and I'm really enjoying this different take. And the other Batman one that we were talking about, where the dude had all this
Oh,
last
dark
week.
dark patterns. Yeah.
Yeah, that one has been very interesting to read.
Have you read the most recent issue of that?
That was issue number 2, right?
3, I think.
Or is issue number 3 out?
3. Yeah.
I think I got 3.
It's so good. It's so good. Because what you find out in there, and then what Batman does at the end of that book to one of the bad guys is
Yeah.
brutal in the coolest possible way.
Is that going to be an ongoing series, or is that
It's
going to be
12
like
issues.
a mini 12 issues?
All
How
right,
about
Aaron,
you,
your
Aaron?
turn.
I'm so in Oscars prep mode right now. All of the comics that I've been reading have been older stuff. I am so behind of like the last like 2 months of comics where I was like, I have no idea.
What does Oscars prep mode mean?
I'm like watching, like my content of choice right now is watching all of the Oscar nominated movies ahead of the Oscars next week. So I'm watching like all of those.
Film is kind of his business, so that's useful for him.
I used to be so into the Oscars, tuning in to watch those, but and I don't mean to make this politics, but
Yep.
that's what when they started pushing on and bringing that stuff into their speeches and crap like that, I'm like, I go to the movies to be entertained. I watch your TV shows to be entertained. I watch your award shows to be entertained as far as wanting my favorite show or movie to win an Oscar, to say, hey, this is a great thing. But the last I maybe tune in here and there, but I just can't anymore. I
That's fair.
don't want politics shoved down my throat. I just want to watch it to watch it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's kind of a reason for why they do that, but yeah, I understand that. That makes sense. Conan's hosting this year, and I'm thrilled.
Oh, that should be interesting with Conan hosting.
Yeah, the last couple hosts have not been great, but Conan I think is going to crush it.
Conan O'Brien.
Yeah. But what I was reading a lot of, I started reading Ryan North's Squirrel Girl because I completely missed that, and there's been like a resurgence of Squirrel Girl stuff happening. So I'm like, I should read that. So I like Ryan North, and I'm like, oh, that book is so fun. It's just fun.
And then best picture, I want to see either Dune or the Bob Dylan movie to win. I really enjoyed. I've listened to Bob Dylan's music, but I didn't know how he came about to the industry. He was nobody. He's just like going to a dude's hospital room and start playing, and somebody else hears me, and that was really cool to see his. And the fact that Timothy Chalamet did all of the music himself for the movie, which was fantastic, and the girl that was playing. Also, everybody was doing their own music. There was no stand-ins for the music, and I think that's just fantastic.
I'm not usually a big musical biopic person. Like, I feel like those can get very formulaic very quickly.
Yeah.
But I really appreciated the Bob Dylan one because it's leading up to a very specific event in his life instead of attempting to be a chronicle of everything he ever did, all he ever was. It's like a 3-act structure, a story trying to get to a specific point in his career that feels like the conclusion. Or like the conclusion like of the arc of the chunk of time that we're with Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
And instead of like the Freddie Mercury one was like him as an infant, him as a preteen, him as a teenager, him as a young man, him as an adult, him like at the end of his life. I'm glad that A Complete Unknown like had that kind of focus.
Yeah. It did. It didn't really go like, oh, this is how him as a child. This is him as a middle-aged teenager. This is him as a young adult. No, it does. It shows him meeting certain ones, and it's just I just hope someone can say.
I was laughing so much at that ceremony.
What's name out your mouth?
My God, that was such. And then my favorite part, because they don't talk about like this all the time, he had to go back on stage like within 15 minutes of that happening because he got that
and get an award.
It was perfect. Oh, what a beautiful symphony of errors. I loved that.
So quickly, because we've got to head off here in a sec. What are your favorite movies from Oscar nominations? Which ones are you liking? I.e., which ones are worth my time to watch?
Ooh. Well, that's a really hard question. I'm behind. There's 4 that I haven't seen of the Best Picture noms, which is like my main mission this week. But I really think it's going to end up being The Brutalist, which is 3.5 hours or 3 hours and 45 minutes with a 15-minute intermission in the film. Hooked into the runtime.
That's like watching The Lord of the Rings.
It really, I've seen it twice. I don't feel the runtime. Like the intermission is a really good palate cleanser, and then I feel like I'm going in for like the end of the arc that I was really emotionally invested in. And then they do some pretty interesting stuff at the ending.
Is he nominated for Best Actor as well?
It is. It is.
That would be his if he wins, it would be his second.
There's some controversy
for The Pianist.
Oh yeah, that is Adrian Brody.
Mm-hmm.
But I really enjoyed that film. There's a lot of controversy around that one because of like their very minimal AI usage, but they've been very vocal about it, which hurts my feelings because I want to root him on so bad because it's a fantastic film. But like, I don't know. I also really loved Wicked, and I think Wicked being in a Best Picture nomination is
Wicked was glorious.
Yeah, I don't think I love
I'm going to say that y'all are probably going to hate me for this, but to me, Wicked is a CGI sing-along.
I disagree.
It's a CGI sing-along. Alan looking like you're about to say something.
I mean, I can't argue with you, but at the same time, it was a Broadway musical for years, and it's one of like an extremely famous Broadway musical. So yeah, it was going to turn into a sing-along.
Yeah.
I'm
not big into those type of movies, and
Yeah,
I'll probably
It's
watch
just
it.
kind of like saying, well, the Bible is a book. Well, it is a book, but it's not just a book.
Right.
Yeah, it
There's
is a
a-
sing-along, but that's not all it is. There's a lot more to it.
There is a
Probably-
single
is it-
version if you're into that, but you can enjoy it without that kind of
I think once Peacock gets it, once we get it on Peacock, my company, Comcast, NBC Universal gets it on Peacock, I'll watch it.
Yeah,
'Cause I
like,
didn't go to
It's a
theater.
phenomenal movie.
it's like this
When
It
week.
you
wasn't
see
one
it,
of those movies that
so
was
good.
drawing me in to watch. I just didn't have any care for it.
It's like
Yeah.
surprisingly rich. Like it is.
It really
there
is.
to dissect and like to dig into. Like you can really sink your teeth into Wicked, and oh, I love it.
Yeah, and believe it or not, I knew very little going into it.
Mm-hmm.
As far as what the story was, the meat and potatoes of the story, I knew the gist of it. And like I said, my daughter wanted to go for her birthday. That was really and truly the only thing she asked for her birthday that she specifically wanted. So that's what we did.
Yeah.
Love it.
And I enjoyed it a lot more than what I thought I would.
I loved it, even though I didn't watch it, because it gave me a great bonus at work, because we own Universal Studios, so that was good. That's all I cared about.
I
And
saw
I
Wicked.
liked the tie-ins
Yeah.
that they did to the original Wizard of Oz. And I also, one thing that I caught myself doing was trying to figure out which characters were going to become
Mhm.
Scarecrow, the Cowardly
Right.
Lion, Tin Man. So, I mean, I enjoyed the movie a lot more than what I thought I would.
Yeah. You
I
know
saw-
that the ruby slivers are not really ruby in the Wizard of Oz book.
No, they were technically silver, weren't they?
Yep.
They were.
Yep.
I saw it in the theater in like a row full of women from the same one family. For some reason, like the middle seat in between them was left open, so that was the one that I picked. So on my left, I had like 2 different or 3 different generations of women, like a little like my age and a little bit younger than me, and then on my left or on my right, there were like 2 more generations of older women. There was a great grandmother there who was 98, I think.
Wow.
And she had like adult memories of when The Wizard of Oz came out, like in theaters.
I think part 2 is supposed to come out this year.
But
It
like
is.
they were all, it's coming out on Thanksgiving. But like that movie was so powerful to watch in that experience of witnessing like 5 different generations,
Yeah.
all accepting it at the same time, because they were all in tears by the end, because it is just powerful. Like that was such a formative thing of this is movie magic. This brings people out. This is what the experience is for. Like this is what art is supposed to be.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. It feels like magic, and not just because it has magic as a focal point of the story. It's
Right.
just the experience that it delivers is magical. It's phenomenal.
It's
But
so much.
doesn't it also lay a groundwork as sort of a prequel to Wizard of Oz with the Wicked Witch and
No,
Gwendola?
very much so. That's the
Yeah.
whole point of the story.
Yeah.
Is it's building toward that, and you know that that's what's coming in the future.
I wonder
Which
if they
is-
had to buy the rights to it to be able to write, because they said that the musical was a book, and then they took it to Broadway and made it into a play out of
Yep.
it.
Mhm. The book was not good.
No, it's not.
It was not.
The play is fantastic. The book is terrible.
Do not let your children read that book. Don't do it.
Okay.
It is graphic.
Yeah, I heard the book is a little racy.
It's gross. It is gross.
Well, that solidified it. I got to go grab my Kindle now.
Not the direction I thought you were going there.
Appreciate it, Aaron. That's not
Yeah.
what I wanted to do tonight.
But we got to sign off now. So any final words for folks?
Captain America: Brave New World theaters right now. Go see it. It's fun.
Go see it. It's worth a watch in the theater. Go if you don't want to spend a lot of money. Go to the matinee.
And read Aquaman. Apparently, a thing I never
Yeah,
thought.
So I got to read Aquaman, and I have posted the link to the Discord server several times. Go join the Discord server, and we can continue this conversation until we're tired of it.
All of these conversations that
All
we've
of
been
these
having.
conversations.
Plus new
Thanks for
ones.
having me on.
Yes,
Yeah.
Josh is not on the Discord server yet, so for now, y'all can still say whatever y'all want to say.
We'll just talk bad about Alan and his bald head.
Yeah, we're not going to let Kay Lisa on it. This is not going to be HR moderated. Sorry.
You maybe should do that.
Now that you've said that, she's going to be like, I want on Discord.
Oh,
If
No,
y'all
believe
wanna know
me,
what this
she knows
thing is
all
gonna be
about
like,
Discord.
I made Tots a manager of the Discord server earlier. So
You did who?
Oh,
You made
Lord,
Tots?
have mercy. Tots, yes. Oh, we're in trouble now.
and to any players
Josh, thank
of
you for
Marvel
having me on,
Rivals,
sir.
yeah, anybody that plays Marvel Rivals, call off of work tomorrow. They're adding the Human Torch and the Thing in the morning.
Oh, sweet.
hey,
Yep.
so hang on. I know we're trying to get off the air, but I missed the boat on that. Is it an app to download? What is Marvel Rivals?
It's a video game.
Video game.
It's a free-to-play video game that you can get on PlayStations, Xboxes, and PCs if you have Steam.
Yeah, I hear it's
Free to play.
actually. I
I
heard
have to
that they
download
let
it for the
go the
PS4.
entire team that was
yes.
doing the game.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game. It's really well developed and it's got really fun lore, and the character designs are really
I'm gonna
interesting.
have to play Marvel. It's a
Right,
download. It's not a physical disc.
Yeah, it's a download. It's like a
Okay.
you just search it up in the little app store of whatever.
Yeah,
you're
And
that's pretty
also,
popular.
there
I'm
is
gonna
a
have to try
comic
it.
book. There is a comic book that is it's been solicited now, I think.
Yeah.
And it will have a game code. So it's going to sell like hotcakes. That's one thing. Number two, final order cutoff for Mark Spears Monsters number 4 is this week. So if you want specific covers, there are 8 covers. If you want specific covers, write us and let us know so that we can make sure that we order them for you. Otherwise, you just get whatever we get.
Yep.
Yep.
Get in
I'll-
on,
Like he's
I'll
like going
message
to the
you.
phone. All right, check it.
get in on the Gittins while the Gittins are good and the Gittins can be got, and then you'll get it.
I'll message you which
That's
covers I
right.
want.
I
Thank
know.
you.
I'm literally on League of Comic Geeks now, looking at this is issue 4.
Yep.
Spears, go on Facebook and look at Mark Spears' actual account on there, and he's showing you all of them.
Yeah, he's got them all posted.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and I definitely need the Witch and the Frankenstein covers.
That scarecrow, what looks like to be the scarecrow with the syringe, that thing's creepy looking.
It really is.
I want to. Is that a exclusive cover for
I
Sony?
don't remember. I'd have
That's
to look.
actually the 1 in 25. I'm looking at it now.
So that's going to be a high value one.
But all right, folks, y'all have a great night. We will catch y'all next time, and we'll see you guys backstage in just a second.